Okay, so we're going to do a back office overview. This is the current back office that Florida Luxury provides to you, and that's the one that we're going to be reviewing and going through for this webinar. Dashlane is kind of annoying. If anyone else is using it, I'm not thrilled with it. So when you log into your back office website, your home screen, right here in the middle, you're going to see the DigiSigner information. If you have yet to sign up for your free DigiSigner account for the electronic signature service, you can do that right here. There's also a video tutorial on using it. It's very simple and it works really nicely. You'll also notice on your home screen that you're going to have messages from the company regarding upcoming events and things like the FLR mixer at Get Hooked, which is on January 26th from 6 to 8. And you can just click here to register yourself and a guest if you're coming. To access the Florida Luxury Calendar, you've got two links here. One shows you in list format and one gives you the calendar format. I'm sure if you've found the webinar that you've already seen your calendar. But what I wanted to point out was the button right here, My Website, to customize your Florida Luxury Agent website. Okay, you do have some ability to alter your agent website that the customers and the public get to see, and this is where you would do it. You can modify your About Me section, which is pretty much your primary bio, your luxury website bio, and then if you have the builder's website, or if you have a link to a bio video, you can add that there. Let's say you have a little promotional video on YouTube. You can add that link there, and it'll be included in your website. You can alter the listings that appear on your website. Okay, you can show random office listings, or you can show yours first and then the office listings, or only show your listings. Okay, you can also set the price ranges of the properties that are shown. There's also a link for links and files, where you can create links in your website that go to maybe your blog. If you have a blog, you can create a link to your blog on your website. You can upload a document link where they would click it and then they would find information, much like your website has for seller and buyer resources, where it's just a basic form that they get to that they can see. There's also the social media and live chat feature. This account obviously is not mine. It's not like a real person. But normally you could add your Google Plus, your Facebook, your Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Pinterest accounts, your public profile links, and have those displayed on your website. Okay. The Pure Chat feature also lets you chat with people live online from your website. Also on your home screen is the Info Center. This is a frequently asked questions section of the website, where a lot of the questions you may have probably have already been addressed in one way or another. And you can click on here to find out the answers to some of the most frequently asked questions and the solution to those questions. There's also the QR code for both Crown and Land Home Financial Services right here on your back office. You can use your QR code reader on your smartphone, scan them, have their contact information in your phone. If you link that to your Google account or your Gmail, it'll go right in there as well. Whatever your phone contact is linked to, actually, is where it will go, if I'm not mistaken. When you receive a new lead from your website, you're going to find it right here in the middle where it says new leads. Okay, this account has 3 new leads because I've already entered 3 people that we're going to be using today for this webinar. So if somebody clicks on contact me on your website, and they fill out the contact me form, you will not only get an email um, with their information, but they'll also show up here as a new lead in your back office. The system will automatically put them in to your database. So when you click it, you can see that these 3 people have been automatically entered into the CRM as new leads. Now, granted, I did them myself manually, but if they had come from the website, it would be the same. This button right here for your profile is how you can change your agent profile. Okay, Frank Zappa is our dummy account, and anything that we do in this account does not get actually uploaded or stored because it's just bogus stuff. But you can alter your name. Let's say your name is the name on your license is Michael, and this says Mike. You can just change it. Okay, you can change your home address, other contact information. If your cell phone number changes, if your email number changes, email address changes, you can add that here as well. And this is where you would update your profile information. It will update with the entire, with the company. So they'll have your new information. Okay. I would say if you're going to change your email address, your preferred email address to another one, that you would still go ahead and email Bill Simon, which is tech@floridaluxury.com, to make sure that it does get updated in a timely manner and that his attention is drawn to it. So that's your home screen on your back office. Okay. You can also order your business card here. And this is the Florida Agent Services, which is the a la carte menu to have the administrative staff perform some tasks for you for a fee that you may not be able to do, or you don't know how to do, or you just don't want to do. You know, sometimes if you get busy, throwing a little money at the situation may not be the worst thing. The next tab in the line is My Deals. We're going to focus more on My Deals and the forms, excuse me, than some of the other things, but we will go over everything in the website. So once you click on My Deals, the first thing you see is My Leads, or the first tab there is My Leads. If you click on My Leads, you have the option to add a new lead, which is somebody calls you and, they're maybe thinking about selling their house down the road, or they're thinking about buying a house, now, which would be great, and you want to add them to your system. You just click on Add a New Lead, fill out their name, cell phone, home phone, their email address, street number, spouse information. Any information you can get from this lead is great. There's also right here the lead category. Are they a buyer, a seller, a past client, or are they someone from your circle? Those are people that that know you've worked with in the past, your family, your friends, your neighbors, that's your circle. You want to make sure that you categorize every lead that comes in, because if you put them on an email drip campaign through the system, based on their category, it will dictate what type of email they get. You don't want to just throw everybody in my circle or a past client if it's actually a buyer lead, because the emails that they're going to receive are going to be different. Okay. You can also make notes on the lead, and I'll get into detail with that in a minute when I open up one of the leads I've already set up. When you're talking to people on the phone they're a potential lead, you want to make notes on the lead, even if it's a family or family member or a friend. You want to make notes about their children when they're graduating college or high school, or little things like that, so you maybe don't forget. I have a horrible habit of running into my friends with their children and totally forgetting what their kids' names are. It happens all the time. So if we look at the 3 leads that we've already installed into the system, I have a seller, a past client, and someone from my circle. And these examples are all tied together in one way or another. So if I open up my circle, his name is John Smith. We have his email address, his phone number, and his home address, which is 123 Main Street, as the one I always like to use. Their lead category is my circle. Lead source, right here, you can change. Okay? Did they come from a mailer? Did they come from the internet? Did they come from your FLR website? If they did, end up in your CRM because they clicked on your email address in your FLR website, it should automatically categorize them as an FLR website lead. Are you part of a team, a real estate team, and was the lead a team lead? Was it from a past sale, someone from your farm area? Was it an office lead? And again, usually if you accept an office lead, it'll automatically put the lead source in as office. Or maybe you got them from Craigslist, or maybe from somewhere else. But this is a great way that you can organize your people. Not only, they're in my circle and I got them from a past sale. That kind of a scenario. The spouse's information is also here. So if you have an email for the spouse or their job title or other information, you can add where they're moving from, what's their average price range, what's their time frame, were they registered from your agent website, where are they looking in, our status, are they an A, B, or C buyer? An A buyer is pre-qualified and they want to go out this weekend. A B buyer is we need to clean up some things on our credit. We're waiting for tax return money, that kind of a thing. And a C buyer is your general, I don't really like where I'm living. And, somewhere down the road, I want to sell and move. And that's your C category customer. You could also put the source in here as well. So let's say, they came directly from a print advertising piece, you can type in there. And if it was a referral and where the referral came from. So as you're chatting with your lead, you can open up your back office, click add a new lead, start typing their info in, and be like, hey, in case we get disconnected, what's your preferred phone number, and type it in there. I have some great information to send you. What's your preferred email address? You can get their address from the county appraiser's website or something like that. And you can just start filling in some of the information based on the conversation that you have. When you're done, you just click update record. Okay. So there's that lead. Now, I didn't show the notes. That was the whole reason doing this. Once you open the lead, you have different categories up here: appointment, scripts, and scheduling. This allows you to prep for your appointment. There are phone call scripts, and then you can schedule your follow-up with your electronic scheduler, your calendar. When you click on appointment prep, there's nothing. And that's because this is your circle. So they're not a buyer or a seller, so you're not going to have all of the things that you're going to see on the buyer category lead. So putting the people in the right category is kind of important. Client testimonial. Once you close a transaction with this person, you can send them a testimonial request. When you do the contract portion of your uploading of the paperwork, if you provide an email address that's valid at that point of the process, you will be able to, the system will automatically send them a request to do, a testimonial for you. But if that doesn't happen, maybe you don't have the right email address in there or whatever, you can send them one. When it comes back, you can edit it. You also have the option to delete it. It doesn't go right on your website as a testimonial until you approve it. Here are the notes on the lead. Now, if you remember just before when I showed you entering a new lead, that there's a section where you can make notes. So this lead, as we know, is part of my circle. This is somebody I know. So it's John from ABC Incorporated. We used to work together. John's son is Tom. He's going to USF. He's graduating in 2019. They have a dog. Their name is Hemi. It's a pit bull. They bought their home in 2005. The wife works at Publix as a deli manager. He referred his brother Tim to me about buying a home back in 2014. So when you make notes, you have things to chat about. Remember, if you took any of the intensity classes, or if you've ever heard of the Ford methods, which is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. That's what people like to talk about. So you can make notes. Family, Tom's graduating USF. How's Tom doing at USF? Is he still liking it? How's Jane liking Publix? Everything going good there? the dog, definitely people's dogs are their family. If you can remember the name of someone's dog, they're very impressed by that. When they bought their home, you know, you can use the Ford method if you have the notes. It'll be a little bit easier to have a real organic conversation with someone, especially if it's a lead. Let's say it's a cold lead and you're following up and you have no notes. I don't remember what they wanted to buy or where they wanted to move from or what was their spouse's name. Taking notes in your CRM is very important. So we go back to the leads. So John referred his brother Tom to me, and Tom is a seller. And if we open up Tom, here's Tom Ford. He's going to sell 123 First Street. Okay. Single guy, no spouse information. Category seller, lead source self. Okay. You can leave it at that, or you can put from a past sale. It all depends on how your brain understands what a past sale is. Okay. Like a past client, or is it from a past sale? I need things simple, so I don't do that. But you could easily make them a past sale. And you could add some more information here. Moving from, maybe, you could just write moving to when they sell. On the appointment prep, because it's a seller, now you actually have documentation that you can use. The Why Choose Me flyer, your referrals, that could be past customers, family, friends, people who know, like, and trust you, who are willing to answer the phone and say, sure, so-and-so agent is top drawer. You need to hire them. The seller Q&A handout, the dazzling first impressions handout, your seller's net sheet, the CMA cover pricing, which matches your full listing presentation so that your materials are uniform across the board. There's also the seller exceeding expectations form. It lets you write in how many ceiling fans are in the house, how many smoke detectors are in the house, when did they put the roof on. This is a great form to have on your clipboard when you're on the listing appointment, walking through the house and taking notes. I've spoken to many realtors who've said that they've lost listings because another agent took notes and they didn't, and that the person they took notes. If you have a memory like mine, you probably would like to take notes. It's odd. I can retain law information, but I don't remember what I had for breakfast. There's also a link here for the Forms Wizard, and I'm gonna show you the Forms Wizard in a minute. That's the Florida Luxury documentation creator, for lack of a better word. Under notes for Tom, we have none. So here you could add the new note. Tom's brother John, I believe, referred to me. He's single, has a dog named Skipper, whatever. Selling the house. He wants to move to Apalachicola. Found him an agent in Apalachicola, their contact information, whatever you need to do, so that when you do speak to Tom, you know what to say. You just click add note and they'll go in there. Now when you open up the notes for Tom, there it is. The email drip campaign button, which is right next to notes, when you open that up. Now, this lead is categorized as a seller, so all of the email options are going to be for seller. So if you were, let's say it's a seller prospect and you just throw it in my circle, all of these are going to be my circle. And those are not call to action type emails. Those are not lead capturing emails. Sphere emails are basically, hey, don't forget about me. I sell real estate. Oh, and by the way, did you know that brass doorknobs disinfect themselves? And here's a little information about, all kinds of stuff. It just sends random home tips and things like that, just to keep in touch and stay top of mind with your sphere. So this person's a seller and I want to prospect them. Now you have options, a seller prospect, which is just, anybody. There's the FSBO seller prospect, the expired seller prospect, and the prospect that was a withdrawn seller. So your expires, your withdrawns, and your FSBOs, we actually have email campaigns designed to market to those people. Okay. Now you will have to use your scripts and get their email address when you speak to them. My best advice would be to offer them something of value that you can send them electronically, and then try to get their email address. The blue boxes let you preview the email. So we're going to go with the seller prospect. We're going to preview. It outlines how many days between the emails that are sent. So on day 1, they get thinking about selling your home. 7 days later, they get save money by listing on your home. 8 days later, they get a free market analysis on their home. 15 days later, free real estate advice about selling. If we charged for these 2 things, that's all we'd have to do. 22 days later, I have some ideas about selling your home. 29 days later, let's get together and talk about the possibility of selling your home. You can click view here, and it'll let you preview the actual email that's going to go out. Okay. The current back office system does not really let you edit this. They're pre-designed templates. That may change. We don't know. Let's say the lead goes dry, or it was an internet lead from your website and the email address was daffyduck@disneyland.com or something like that. You can click delete. You have to check to confirm the deletion and then click the red button to delete the record. Okay. Now, the Tom Smith lead is a past client. Same thing happens. You can change all this information, add more information. There's notes. Okay, so I had the wrong people. So John referred Tom to me. He bought his winter house with him, and he has a dog named Rex, who's a Mastiff. You could put that, Tom works at, I don't know, ABC Liquor. I don't know why that just came to my mind. ABC Liquor or whatever he does. And now when you follow up with Tom as a phone call, at least 4 times a year, you can be like, hey, Tom, how's it going? How's everything over at, I don't know, the Laser Spine Institute, wherever they work. Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So that's your leads. Your listings are here. So once you have a listing in the MLS that's active, about 24 hours later, give or take, it will automatically populate into the back office. And if you click this drop-down menu right here that says select listing at my listing, the address will show. And then you can click the address, and then you click go, and it'll bring you to the back office to upload your listing paperwork. Okay. Now, for this particular example, we're going to have to manually do our stuff. So we listed it today. It's going to expire on the 31st. Very fast listing. If you can't sell it in a week, it's not happening. John Smith, john@noemail.com. His wife is Judy. Her last name is Jones. Whoops. The street number is 123 Main Street. I'm sorry, I just saw a text that made me chuckle. Now, you can see I just made a mistake here. It wants the address, the number, and then the street name. The unit number, if it's a condominium, apartment, or whatnot. Port Richey. 34654. Now, if it's populated from the MLS, when you actually, let's say you actually have a listing. This account obviously has no listings. The listing price, the year it was built, that information will already be there. Okay, you won't have to fill it out. So let's say it's currently listed at $350,000, and it was built in 2016. It is a home. Okay, so you want to select property type. Is it a home, vacant land, condo, commercial? By answering these questions, you're telling the system what the file is going to require as far as the documentation and the paperwork. So you don't want to click condo if it's a home, because it's going to ask you for paperwork that you're not going to use for that transaction. Was it a short sale? Yes or no? We're going to say no. And is it a foreclosure? You're going to say no, unless you're a foreclosure agent and you list foreclosures. Is there an HOA? Sure, why not? And the annual taxes, again, would be automatically provided from the MLS if it was actually a live listing. So there's the information. I missed the phone number. So we need to give them a phone number. Everything else seems to be checked off. Everything in red is mandatory. There we go. So once you click move on, here's the next screen is where you can upload your documents. Now I'm just going to give you a quick example of how to upload your documents. So I recommend, if you are a new agent to the company or a new agent to the industry, that you create a fake lead and a fake listing and come in here and look. Okay, so this is a house, and this is what they're asking for. Okay, so make note of what the file requires. You're going to need the tax record, which is at the time of the listing, which is a PDF copy of the county appraiser's tax roll. You're going to need the seller's property disclosure. You're also going to need an HOA community disclosure, because we said it was in an HOA. The signed seller MLS profile review and signed acknowledgement or input sheet. Okay, that's where it'll come out in the wizard. You have an MLS profile sheet that they have to sign once the property is in the MLS and they approve all the changes to the photos and the public description and whatnot. They sign that copy as well. Okay, that's currently how it's being handled. You'll also need the listing agreement and all the addendums. So if it's a listing agreement and there's an addendum for a sinkhole repair, or there's an addendum for lead-based paint disclosure, that kind of thing, you're going to want to include that. Now, when you're preparing your paperwork to go on a listing, let's say you're going physically to the listing appointment, you're going to print all the paperwork out that you need. You're going to bring it with you, and they're going to sign it, and you're going to come back and you're going to scan it. You can scan it all as one PDF, and when you come in, just check off everything that is included in that PDF. How super awesome is that? Okay. If you are sending out for e-signature, it should also be one large PDF. I don't know if you are aware, but there's a website called smallpdf.com, which works awesome. You can upload multiple PDFs to the site. It'll turn them into one. It'll just merge them all together for you. So let's say we have a listing agreement, and we're going to add that file. Let's go to my temp. Okay, we're just going to use this. I'm going to use the same dummy PDF all the way through. So there it is. There's the PDF. And you click upload. There it is. Now you can view the uploaded file. Okay, which is cool. Pulls it right up. Here it is. Looks good. Nice and clean. Super duper. You can add more. You can view all the documents, which gives you a nice run through. Let's say there's a problem and there's a mistake on a document that needs to be changed. Sometimes I upload the one that's not executed on the contract side. Nancy is probably smiling at the moment, but I do that sometimes. I just upload the wrong PDF. You can come in and delete it. That's not the right one. I need to delete that. And then you can return back to the documents. Click on upload. I uploaded the wrong listing agreement. Now I have the right one. I'm going to select it from my computer, and I'm going to click upload. Now it's in there. If we look at the listing detail, when you come into my listings and you go to your active listings, here, this is where it's going to list it. Okay. You click view, and this is what you're going to come to. You can create a showing form. There's also the scripts and the information to record your 800 lead capture rider. If you've listed properties or you plan on listing properties, if you're in real estate, I'm assuming you're going to list properties, you might want to invest in the 800 riders. You can use them over and over and over again for a one-time fee. They work great. The buyers can call that 800 number, hear a pre-recorded message about the property. You get a text message that tells you that that person's calling on that sign. You can call them back. It's a great way to capture sign call leads. You can post your open house for the property for Facebook right here. There's also a link to the flyer creator, closing cost calculator, and other informations like that. Okay. Services, you can order the sign installation or the sign removal right from here. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, that's I'm not exactly sure of what company that is. I'll have to get back to you on that. You can also change the email campaign. You can start an email drip campaign to the seller. You can click on that and we can go right back to, email drip, that kind of a thing, which we already looked at. Here's the documents. This is normally what's going to happen is you're going to come in, you're going to go to your active listings, click on this, go to your documents and be like, what's missing? What do I still need? What didn't I do? This will happen more on a contract side because possibly you're still waiting for some disclosure that the other agent's dragging their heels about. So you want to come in here and look, be like, what's missing? Especially about a week or 10 days before the closing. Make sure that all your docs are here, because if they're not, you will not get a commission disbursement and you will not get paid at the table until everything's uploaded. Where was I? My listing. Your pending listings are here as well. Any withdrawn listings that you had are here, and then your closed listings are here. So when you close a transaction with Florida Luxury and all the paperwork has been uploaded, you can come back and you can look at the documents, and they'll have a list here of everything, the HUD, everything. So you can always come back to your files and review them, okay? I'm not exactly sure how long they're going to stay there, but I would think that you're going to review them within a year, because sometimes the HUD will have the address where your seller is moving to that you may not have, that kind of a thing. You might want that information for future marketing. The other tab under my deals, you've got my leads, my listings, and now my contracts. Okay, so you can add a new contract right here. You can look at your pending contracts. This is what this agent has pending. Okay, contracts that were canceled and contracts that closed. Fortunately, they had way more canceled contracts than they closed. It's not a real person, so I'm just kidding. So let's say you've got pending contracts and you open one up. Okay, so it's pending, it's going to close. It should have already closed apparently. You hit the documents, there's stuff missing. I better make sure I upload my broker disclosure to buyer and all that good stuff. When you come in here to your contracts and you look at your pending contracts, and we open this one up, okay? When all the paperwork is uploaded, there'll be a big green box that says request commission disbursement. Until you see that big green box, there's stuff missing. After you click submit commission disbursement, which means that you're requesting Christy to issue your CDA, which is a commission disbursement authorization from Connie, to the title company to give you your check at the closing. It'll say that the CDA was requested and the date in like a gray box. Okay, so if you come in, you see the gray box, you're pretty good. You've got all your documents uploaded. If you come in, you see the green box, and you need to do your CDA, but you want to check to make sure all the documents are there. Okay, and if you come in and there's nothing, you've got documents missing. Okay. One other thing about uploading documents is this feature right here, additional documents. These are for documents that may not be asked for here. Okay, the back office is going to ask you for the minimum legally required documentation for the file. Let's say you have a couple of emails that you think might come into play down the road between buyer and seller, post-closing or something, or what have you, and you want to upload those as well. You can right here. Let's say your contract, I just had one where it was a vacant land, and on the vacant land contract, you have to designate what type of deed you're going to be getting at closing. And the buyer's agent mistakenly, you know how those boxes are confusing when you're checking off, and there's a row of words. So they mistakenly checked off the wrong deed type. So what we did was we took that one page of the contract, had everybody initial the change, and then I just had one page to upload to the file. So I just came in here and wrote corrected page, whatever, of the contract, had it, clicked add file, found the file on my computer, clicked open, clicked upload, and there it was. And there it is. So that comes in super handy with uploading things. One of the other things that the file doesn't always ask for is the MLS sheet. Okay, if you notice under documentation, it's not asking for the contract in the contract side for the MLS sheet. I like to include the MLS sheet with my contract paperwork. It shows what the commissions were. It shows what the MLS had in it. The other agent's information if you want to start marketing to other agents for whatever, recruitment purposes. But I like to have that in there. Normally it's inside the PDF with the contract when I upload it. Now, again, with the contract, when you use DigiSign, you're going to want to merge all the PDFs together, send it out for electronic signature in one shot, have it all signed and initialed and sent back to you. So let's say it comes back and you've got the contract, the seller's disclosure, the HOA, those three, all together in one PDF. You can just select all three, click add files, and then upload the one PDF that contains all that information. Okay, you don't have to upload the same PDF multiple times. And when you're sending things out for electronic signature, it's much better to have one PDF for the customer to go through and send, because not that it's difficult for them, but when it comes back to you, you want one PDF to come back for your filing system. It makes things a little bit easier. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm assuming you're good with the My Deals section of the back office. Are there any questions on that? If you can type fast. Anybody type fast? All right. So that's your My Deals. Your leads, your listings, your contracts. It's your CRM. It's your file organizer, and it's your file storage system. Okay. The next tab along the top here is selling systems. We've got listing, short sale, and buyer. Okay. So there's marketing materials that you can use for buyers. Okay. One of the things is the buyer brokerage agreement. The buyer brokerage agreement, or the BBA, as it's shortened, and how to open a new buyer contract in back office. You only add my contracts once and they are accepted. Yeah, once you upload the contract, it's there. And it should show under, let me just go back to that real quick. I'm just answering William's question. Once you upload the contract, it'll show up under your pending contracts, and the document should be right there if you click view all docs. Okay. How to open a new buyer contract in back office. I'm going to get to that in about 2 seconds. So under selling systems, you've got listing and you've got buyer. And on the buyer, we've got the buyer agreement, buyer consultation, the buyer action plan. Okay. The BBA is not going to open because I'm using a Mac. I have to get it from Florida Realtors. Again, with the Why Choose Me flyer, your client references, there's a home buyer Q&A, which is similar to the home sellers Q&A. And you can add that to your buyer package when you work with buyers. There's short sale Q&A about purchasing a short sale, what buyers should know, how long does it take? How long does it take? Oi. There's also the Bright House certificate that you can print out and give it to them at closing. Make sure that your agent name is here, okay? And they'll get whatever the deal is. 1 month free. I think it's 1 month free plus free installation on their home if they want to go with Bright House. We would probably want to check on that to make sure that Spectrum is still honoring that. Or I would just tell them to call Verizon. Or it's not even Verizon anymore. You can also search the do not call list right from here. Okay, you've got a buyer tracking form, which is great. I use these for sellers too, for seller leads. I have to be honest. For a long time in my office, I had a hook on the wall with a clipboard attached to it with a bunch of these printed out. And I would just, while I was on the phone, I would just jot things down, take all the notes, and use it. It was a wonderful tool. These days, I just use my Google Keep as I go. So then we've got the listing section for the selling systems. Okay. Now in here, there's also the portion about scripts and dialogues, how to learn scripts, prospecting expired scripts, prospecting FSBO scripts, prospecting listed or just sold, prospecting your circle, objection handling, and search do not call list. Okay. There's also your full listing presentation, the open house supplement that you can add to your presentation if you'd like. Some agents don't like to promote open houses, so we have it separate as a separate supplement. There's also the supplement about market value. I think this should be included in everyone's CMA, the good old pyramid of value. And down here, we've also got marketing services. So you go in here and click on everything and check all this stuff out and see all this stuff that the company is providing you. There's so many tools in your back office to help you be successful. It's not even funny. Okay, it really isn't. And this is the same stuff that I use, So, I don't know, works for me. So there's the selling systems. Now, Irma, do you mean once it's uploaded as a pending contract, or how to open it through the wizard? Once it's uploaded as a pending contract, or do you mean how to start a new contract through the wizard to create a new form? All right, yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. I just didn't know if I had to go back. So under your forms tab, this is where all the forms are. Yo. I'm going to start with the agent one, which I know you're probably like, what? So under the agent forms, there's your your seller referral, and your buyer referral. There's a tenant referral. Okay. You probably will use this tab for these more than anything else. Okay. You also have a fax cover page if you have a fax machine. Your lead side agreement, that is for when the leads come in through the office that you're agreeing to compensate for the office lead. There's also letterhead for the basic FLR and the luxury and the assistant service forms. Your salesperson policy manual is also here under the agent tab. If you have not looked at that or saved it as a PDF or printed it out, well, I wouldn't print it out, but save it as a PDF so that you have it handy. I'm sure you got one at some point when you signed up with the company, but here it is. And when it's updated, it'll be updated here. But here's your referrals. This is what I love about our referral forms. They make life so easy. So referring agent, that's you, your phone number, your email, who you're sending them, the receiving broker information, who's the agent phone number, what's their brokerage, the address, the client's name. So I'm going to send them John Smith. He's going to buy a house in Texas. This agent's in Texas. They're going to pay me whatever, let's say 25%. of their overall commission. Okay, if they have to buy a house within 12 months, you can edit that if you need to, and as long as they agree to it and sign. Okay, your referring broker signature is already there. The W-9 that the other broker will need is already here as well, and it's already signed by Connie. So once you send your referral form over, they've already got the W-9 and you're good to go. No chasing that down. That's never fun. So we're going to go to buyer. Okay. Now, under the buyer forms right here, we have a list of all the forms that you can pull as an individual form. Okay. Let's say that you're using the wizard and the contract's going to be contingent on the sale of the buyer's property, which I don't believe is an option in the wizard. So you may need that separate form. So we're going to use this one, sale of buyer property. And the wizard's going to pull up the back office is going to pull up that form for you. This is where small PDF comes in really handy because you can use the PDF from the wizard, merge it with this, and you've got one PDF for the entire contract. It'll make it very clean. If you're not sure how to use small PDF, there is a YouTube video on the Florida Luxury Education YouTube channel explaining how to do it. It's super easy. If you can upload a photo to Facebook, you can do that. So we're going to use the wizard. And I will admit right now that when Scott showed me this about, I don't know, 5 years ago, going on 5 years ago, he showed me the wizard on his iPad. We were at the Board of Realtors, and I thought, wow, my big red box franchise doesn't have this. And I was just amazed. So if you have not yet used the wizard, it's amazing. So we're in the buyer category, so it's going to ask, do you already have a signed mandatory buyer broker disclosure to buyer form? Nope, I need one. Okay. Is the property subject to a short sale? No, it is not. Hopefully you always get to put no. Will the purchase be as is? Yes. And it is a home. We go next. Is there an HOA? Yes, there is. Well, no CDD. They're going to go FHA/VA. And is it require the buyer requesting the seller to pay any of their closing costs? Yes, they are, because they're FHA. And we go next. Was the property built before 1978? Yes, it was. Now, if the property was built between 2004 and 2009, oh, my script doesn't work when I don't have a class in front of me. I usually ask, but between 2004 and 2009, there's a disclosure for defective drywall. At the time, through those years, there was drywall that was imported from somewhere, and it was defective, and it, was not good. So be sure you always say defective drywall. If it wasn't built before 1978 and it doesn't have defective drywall, you just select other. By selecting by answering these questions, the wizard is going to build the package and give you everything that you need in one PDF. Now, yes, there are times you're going to have to pull, the random document pertaining to the transaction that's outside of what the wizard's doing. But the wizard will generally give you everything that you're going to need. It's rare that I have to pull something else. And then we go next, excuse me. Do you want to include the seller disclosure request form? So let's say there's no seller's disclosure attached to the MLS. And you call the listing agent and you're like, hey, we're going to write up an offer. Can you send me the seller's disclosure? And the agent says, well, we don't have one. The seller never filled one out. Okay. You click yes and send this over. This is a very quick disclosure request. Do you know of any sinkholes? Do you know if you have bad defective drywall? Do you have an elevation certificate? Do you have a survey? Are there any material defects that affect the value of the property that you should disclose? It's just a simple, easy peasy one. Sometimes they'll fill it out, sometimes they won't. If for some reason you ever have a disclosure like that, where you have the buyer and the seller does not have a seller's disclosure and they refuse to sign this one, you will have to write on that form, the seller refused to fill out, there is no seller's disclosure. And in the back office, when it requests a seller's disclosure, you upload that form in its place. Okay, the system will want you're going to have to put something. You're going to have to upload a PDF for every requested document in the back office. So if for some reason they don't have a seller's disclosure, let's say it's a foreclosure, you're going to have to upload something in its place. You can ask Nancy. I believe Nancy and Rhonda and the Spring Hill office, because I can't think of her name. Oh my God. They have a form that they can upload for you. So we go next. Do you need the flood insurance flood riders? Okay, if it's in a flood zone, you might want to do the insurance flood rider. Is it a 55 plus community? Is it for housing for older people, 55 or 65 and above? Is it a lease purchase option? Okay, we're going to leave all those no, so that my PDF's not huge. So this is what's going to be included in the PDF. All those documents. You click Create Package. And you click Download Blank Form Package. And there's the form. Now, here's everything in that PDF. You've got your, whoops, where are we starting with? We're going to start with the TILA RESPA Integrated Disclosures, the TRID, and that's the authorization for you to be furnished with that information. It makes it easier to go over the settlement statement and the paperwork if you have permission from the customer to do that. The actual as-is contract. I stopped too soon. When you use the wizard, Florida Luxury will automatically be in there. And I forgot to mention this part. But when you use the Forms wizard through the back office, you will also automatically have the $250 administrative fee to Florida Luxury built into the contract. Okay. If you're waiving that for some reason, or you're not charging it for some reason, you can just go ahead and delete it. Okay. And move on. If you're changing that to 500 or more, then that's how you do it. You edit it right there. Here we go. The HOA disclosure. Here is the FHA VA addendum. The buyer closing cost addendum. Lead-based paint disclosure. And the seller disclosure request form. Now, on the lead paint, if this is a contract and it's built before 1978 and on the purchase, chances are the seller has already filled out the lead-based paint disclosure and the listing agent has that uploaded to the MLS. So when you're in the wizard, although it says, was the property built before 1978, if you've already got the disclosure signed by the other party, that's the one that the buyer is going to be initialing and signing as well, then you can just check no. It was not built before 1978, so that you don't get the disclosure. Okay? When you upload the contract on the contract side, it'll ask you, was the house built before 1978? And you say yes, that will ask for the disclosure. I hope that made sense. It'll just cut out that one, form in there that you may not use. Now, where am I? So that's your buyer contract. That's the contract through the wizard. The seller, again, you can use a wizard for the wizard for the seller. Here's a bunch of additional documents that you may need. If you're selling vacant land, here they are. Vacant land listing and vacant land disclosure. I don't think it's going to, it did open, okay. Sometimes they don't because I'm on a Mac. There's a vacant land listing agreement and then the vacant land disclosure. Yes, there is a disclosure for vacant land, which it's not going to show us. I have to go to Florida Realtor and get it. The vacant land disclosure is similar to a seller's property disclosure in LOL Apple. Yeah, whatever. It was those Word docs that Florida Realtors uploaded like 10 years ago. But off the subject. The disclosure accounts for is it currently used for its zoning? Do you know of any septic tanks that are on the property that are not in use, or how old are they? Things like that. I'm selling, I have a vacant land under contract right now that at one point had 2 homes and a travel trailer on it. So it had 3 septic tanks, 2 wells, power for two separate power, I guess, accounts. It had 2 separate physical addresses. And now all those buildings are gone, and we're just selling the dirt and the stuff that's underneath the dirt. You can find the seller disclosure, the sinkhole disclosure, because the wizard doesn't ask, does the house have a sinkhole? So if you need the sinkhole disclosure, you can just click it there and get it. Okay. Basic Florida realtor sinkhole disclosure. So here's the wizard for the seller. I'm going to move a little bit quick because I just noticed what time it was. So is it a short sale? We're going to say no. If you say yes, it's going to give you all the paperwork you need to do a short sale listing. I'm going to say it's a home. They are going to use Crown, or maybe they're not, but I still print one out anyway. You never know. If they are or are not U.S. citizens, why is that important? Well, if the seller is a foreign investor, there's that, I can't think of the initials, the NARD, anyway. The buyer may be required to hold a percentage of the seller's proceeds after the closing, yada, 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 and you need to disclose that to the foreign seller. But we're going to say no. Because there's guidelines to it as well. They have to net a certain amount of money, and if it's not primary residence. Is the property in a flood zone? Yes or no. It'll give you the flood information if it is. I'm going to get that so you take a look at it quick. And then HOA, lead-based paint, drywall, CDD. So this is for the seller. Okay, so this is all the stuff that the seller would fill out disclosure-wise. And you just check off what you need. Yes, yes, no, no. Move on. I'm going to create the package. All right, I'm picking up. Lorianne, can you mute your microphone? Thank you. It's like right in my ear. And then you click download, and there it is. Now, if the PDF opens in this window, you can right click. Maybe not. Why is this not doing it now? That's odd. Oh, because I'm in Safari. Never mind. And I know I'm going to get a smart-ass answer about that. So there's a document for that. You also have the lease information, any commercial information. If you're already in contract, whether you have a buyer or a seller, okay, and let's say you have the buyer and you're under contract, you've got 3 days to deliver escrow, and you're got the little check in your hand, you can print out the escrow receipt and put the buyer's name, what the property address is, your name, whether you're representing buyer, seller, or both, your phone number, your email. Put the check right here in the middle, make a copy of it, give the title company the check, or they can at least sign and say that they've received it. It's a nice receipt. Some title companies do not give you a nice receipt. I'm just going to say it. Crown always emails you a very nice PDF with everything in it, and we've got the money, and it's already cleared, and all this great stuff. Sometimes you go to some title companies, they put the check on the printer with their business card, and they hit copy, and that's your receipt. But that's just how some things are done. So you might want to have escrow receipts printed in your bag as you're walking around. You're in contract, you're heading to closing. The final walkthrough is here. And it's a final walkthrough inspection. The buyer has or has not conducted. If the buyer did not do the final walkthrough, you still need the final walkthrough form for the back office. And you just say the buyer did not do one. No big deal. When it comes to the final walkthrough, anyone can do the walkthrough except you. I would urge you against doing the final walkthrough for your customer, especially if they're not going to take occupancy for, a couple of months. That's happened sometimes when they're not going to move in for a couple of months, but they want you to do the walkthrough. No. Just avoid it. Anyone can do it. Their friend, their neighbor, whoever. If they can't physically do it, then they just check off, we did not perform one, and you move on. There's also this utilities info form. You can bring this on the listing, or when you're in contract with a buyer, and you can put the property address and the buyer's name or the seller's name, property address, and send it over. And have the seller provide the information to your buyer right here, who does all this stuff. Without the form, you're going to find yourself emailing back and forth like with the other agent, you know, because we'll ask the agent. It happens so many times where I'll ask the other agent, like, who's the water company? They're like, I don't know. I'll have to find out. And then you don't hear back, you know. So this form is awesome. Very, very handy. And I like to bring it when I go on the listing appointment. And then I have it. I may not share it as a PDF to every agent that comes along, but I at least have the information for when we get to contract time. So that's in contract. Okay. Contract extension, cancel the contract. Hopefully you never have to click that. Your blank addendum is also found here. So the blank addendum is in the in contract section because that's usually the most time you would need it. Okay. All of this can be deleted and your addendum can be written in here. Okay. The contract addendum, if you've read before I deleted it, before you send this to either whether you have the buyer or the seller, whoever your customer is, before you send this to them for signature, it has to be approved by a manager. The verbiage in this addendum could alter the pre-written text in the contract or be written in such a way that it's not clear, that it may not be understood by both parties and all that good stuff. So when you have to write a blank addendum for something, write it and then send it, email it to everyone. And whoever gets it, you know, email it to Scott, me, Dan McGraw, Cherise, and whoever gets it first and approves it, approves it. We may sometimes send you back a little notice saying, change this to this, and you'll be good to go. So there's your in-contract form. So any questions on the forms? What do you mean click down arrow? I was in here when you did it. Okay. Training. We have the live schedule. Okay. There's some playback that you can find here. Okay. Some of these links may be damaged, so don't freak out. There's also the on-demand videos here. And again, some of these links may be damaged. The My Deals back office videos, there's actual videos on uploading your contract, uploading listing paperwork, some of the special features of the back office, and how to add a lead to the drip campaign in the back office. It displays the steps of a listing or purchase with what days to perform them. Meaning, how long do you have to upload the paperwork? William? You should have all the paperwork uploaded within 24 hours of you receiving it. It's a good rule of thumb, but it shouldn't take you longer than that to complete each. I don't understand what you mean by complete each step. You know, if you have the listing and the contract comes in and the seller signs it and you have all the paperwork, you just upload it immediately, or at least within 24 hours or so. The luxury specialist course, if you have not taken this yet, yeah, just give me a call. Click on the Get Started, and it will take you to the video class. There's a print. You have to print out some of the material. Just a little advice for you. So you have to print out some of the material to submit it to the office to be certified as a luxury. You get the luxury certification through the company. I recommend that you print that stuff first and then start the videos. Okay. Once you take the course, you'll understand why I'm saying that. And then once you upload it and you're approved, then you get access to the luxury website, the luxury marketing materials, and all that great stuff. So it's not a difficult course, and I recommend you do it. Under the MFR MLS tab, there's a CMA tutorial using Matrix, listing input tutorial, and adding new listings. We haven't checked all of these links. So if you go to one and it's corrupted for some reason, let me know and I can give you the information that you're looking for, because we have new videos that are uploaded that will be hosted shortly that you can access. In the meantime, if you go to the Florida Luxury Education YouTube channel, you'll be able to find most of the videos. So under technology, we've got desktop software. Here's where you can download your Foxit reader and the PD fill tools. These are two handy. If you have a Windows computer, you have to have Foxit. There's just there's no way around it, unless you're paying for some Adobe. Cherie's contract closed because she gave out to do sheets. That's out of the process. Oh, yeah, we have that sheet. Oh, I know the sheet you're talking about. Like the checklist for what goes in the file. So you've got Foxit PDF Reader and then the PD Fill tools. Those are great. You can also download Chrome if you don't already have it. Firefox, and Explorer 9. We might want to update that in a minute. There's great little tools to bulk image resizer, the Paint Shop Pro, and things like that. Now, the mobile apps, these are cool. If you have the Florida Luxury email, it's kind of a grandfathered thing. Most of us are not using it, but you can scan that there. You can scan Foxit to your Android, homes.com, Google Voice, Google Drive, Dropbox, realtor.com. And then the iPhone apps, same things, but for the iPhone, same with the iPad. There's your mobile apps. And of course, if you click on cloud services, you've got all the Google Cloud services, Dropbox, MailChimp that you can use for email drip campaigns for specific things. Like you can set up like a birthday campaign, and then when it's your customer's birthday, you can just send it and they'll get like a nice little birthday email. Play with that. MailChimp's pretty cool and it's free for so many sends, I believe, a month. Under the directory tab is our staff. If you need to find another Florida Luxury associate, you click on our associates. Okay, there's a drop-down menu with everybody, and then there's the section with everyone's faces. Everyone with a face has a website. Everyone on the list here doesn't necessarily have a website. So that's the difference between why there's a drop-down and why there's photos. Okay, it's just that the agent hasn't yet activated their FLR website, and that's your consumer website. So if I want to get in touch with someone and I can't find Katie's phone number anywhere in my phone, which would be nuts, but it could happen. I just click on Katie. There's her name. There's her email address. There's her phone number. I can just click on her email and it'll open up my email and send her. Very easy. And you can do that for anybody. Okay. That's the associates. So staff, I kind of skipped over that. So the staff members, there are QR codes to add people to your phone. Okay. If you are emailing me for a technical question or a support question, please use the education email provided here, as opposed to my personal Gmail. We also have the business resource tab. This is pretty cool because sometimes say to me like, well, you want to provide a list of home inspectors and termite people and all that stuff to your customers, and sometimes when your agent's like, well, I don't know who to put on the list. Here you go. So let's say termite inspectors. Click on it, show the businesses in that category, and there they are. Okay. So you can easily go through and use these business people. They're trusted people that we've used in the past that agents like. Same thing for home inspectors. Click on that. There's a bunch. And it works nice. Under the company info tab, this is where the information is stored for your office addresses, okay, all of them. The local board IDs, okay. The Hudson ID is Port Richey, just so in case that confused anybody if they ever went to this and was like, what do they mean Hudson? The Port Richey office actually at one point was across the street. And then if it's across 52, it's Hudson. The Pro ID, the Hernando ID, and then Greater Tampa. The company EIN and the company corporate license number is here as well. Again, there's another link to the salesperson policy manual. For the purposes of the, that's for the referrals, I'm sorry. And then for the licensing, if you're going to do a HUD property and they ask for the HUD NAID number, it's right here. The broker license number is right here. It's not your license number. It's not your NERD's number. It's the company. Okay. If you ever need Connie's broker license, here it is. Our branch license number. So there's the information that you need. You're going to come in here and get the HUD one at some point in time. At some point, someone's going to want to buy a HUD house. That's where the information is. Okay. Most of the things that you need to conduct your business can be found in the back office. Still need to know how to open a contract for buyer contract. Tried to unsuccessfully a few times. It would not accept the submission. When you get a chance to answer, I can call you after webinar. Open a contract. You mean after, Irma, do you mean after you use the wizard, you couldn't get it to open? Like after you downloaded it? Entering an executed contract. So you mean you're going to upload, you're going to go to My Deals and upload a contract, right? Okay. You have the buyer, so you're going to enter the MLS ID number. Let me just pull one up. Why is this not cooperating? Oh, that's fine. Two 6 3 2 2. So you enter the MLS ID number. Select go. Oh, it's not found. Oh boy. W762 6322. I just checked this morning as an active MLS number. Here we go. Let's say it was a list. You mean you're putting the MLS number in and it's not coming up? Is that going to happen for all of them? Excuse me a second. That's not what I was looking for. Irma, what's the MLS number? Oh, well, that would take. Excuse me while I redo this. 7624316. There we go. So all you do on the contract page is you enter the MLS ID number here. And click go. And you fill out all the contract information. Was that what you were having? Was that where the problem was? Okay. if you click submit and nothing happened, go back through and make sure that all the red things are checked off. Like, is this transaction the purchase of your own property? Yes or no? That seems to be the one that I always forget, because it's kind of like in there with that. Do you have the title information selected? I'll give you a call when we're done. So when you go to upload your contract, you're going to put your contract date in, when the closing date's going to be. You select it on your calendar. Seller's name, buyer's name, all the information for the property. When you're in the contract side and you're adding the information, residential, commercial, vacant land, condo, again, by telling it what these are, it's going to ask for specific documents. If you select condo, it's going to ask for a condo rider. Is there an HOA? If you say yes, it's going to ask you for the HOA disclosure. Is the buyer using FHA, VA financing? Is there a CDD? Yes or no? Whatever you tell it. When it comes to the title company, there's a big drop-down menu of all of our local title companies, okay, that you can use. Crown Title is right here. I don't think it matters which one you choose. And once you have that, all the information is already stored, which is great. Great. Are they using Lori Johnson with Land Home Financial Services? If Lori Johnson's doing their loan, you select yes. Now Lori's going to have access to the uploaded contract paperwork, which helps keep her in the loop. On your payment information, your compensation plan, your phone number, and the name that your check is made payable to is all going to automatically be filled in there. Okay. This is not a real agent, so that information is not in there. You enter the property sales price and then the commission. So the commission is whatever the MLS says. Okay, so if it's 3%, you put 3%. If it's a flat fee, let's say they're giving you, $2,500, you just put a flat fee of $2,500 in. On the MLS fee, if there's no fee, you put 0. If it's your contract and you're the listing agent and you're collecting a fee, you put the fee you're collecting. If you are the buyer's agent and not the listing agent, and the MLS says 3% minus whatever, let's say 250, you just put minus 250. The reason this all is very important is because this is the information provided when you click Submit CDA down the road when all the paperwork is uploaded. Okay? So you want to make sure that you have all this correct. If there's no fee in the MLS, it's 0. If you're the listing agent and you're receiving a fee from the MLS, you put that in as a positive. And if you are the buyer's agent and you're paying a fee in the MLS, you put negative and whatever that fee is. The side that you're servicing, buyer, seller, or both, we're going to say we just have the buyer. The $250 admin fee, who is that paid by? I'm going to say buyer and agent. What? So why do we have all these choices? I already said buyer, right? Why do I have to select here? Well, you could be buyer and agent. Let's say the buyer is like, well, I understand the fee and I get it. And they're FHA and like every penny's going into this house for them to get it. And they're like, I'd be willing to do 100 of it, but I really don't want to pay the 250. Okay, buyer pays 100, agent pays 150. Buyer and agent. Now remember, in your independent contractor agreement, that 250 per side was agreed to, and it is your expense. So, when you have to pay it, you have to pay it. Like, that's just life. Let's say you've got both sides. I have both sides. Who's paying the admin fee? Let's say buyer and agent again. Let's say the buyer is paying their 250 as per the contract, and the seller, they're paying 7% commission. So they negotiated the $250 admin fee, but they agreed to a 7% commission. Things happen, so the agent's going to pay their $250 there. So you have options in this section. Usually, it's going to be buyer, buyer, and buyer. If there's a bonus in the MLS, you're going to enter the amount here. What was the lead source of your sale? Was it the office or somewhere else? Okay. If it came from the office, then it's office. If it came anywhere else, then it's other. Are you sharing your commission with an FLR agent? You can select the agent you're sharing your commission with and put what your percentage split is. This is if you're on a team. There's two of you, and you list everything, and you work buyers together, and you split it all. Or it's like a 75-25 or whatever the scenario is. That's different than a referral payout. Okay, if you're paying a referral to another agent, you're going to select yes or no, and then fill out the required information as to who they are. Okay, if they are an FLR agent, here you go. Okay, and if they're with another brokerage, you have to type it in. What is the referral rate? Is it a percentage or a flat fee? And what's their information? Down here is a section for notes. You can make notes on the file that the administrative office should know about before closing. So any note you put in here is shared with the admin folks who are going to check your compliance, and they're going to be issuing your commission disbursement authorization and all that good stuff. It's different than when you make a note in the My Deals portion under your leads in the CRM. If you make a note for one of these folks, that's just for you. Okay? So that's really it. The uploading of the paperwork is not difficult. I'm going to address Irma's issue when we get finished. It's probably something minor. But it's very simple to use. And again, if you have not yet signed up for your DigiSigner account, do so. Florida Luxury is providing that to you, so you get a free account with them. If you were using DocuSign in the past, you may experience some considerable savings. If you were using anything else in the past, you might as well take advantage of it. That's a great class, and there's a training video on, that's a great product, and there's a training video on using it that you can review. As for this webinar, we're coming to a conclusion. It will be available at some point online. I just have to see if I have to convert this into something else before we can upload it. And it's an hour and a half long, so fingers crossed on that. And then you'll be able to come back to this video, look at the back office again. You can pause it, fast forward it, rewind it. So I'm going to address Irma's issue when we're finished. We have a few minutes left. Does anyone else have a specific question about their back office? I was that thorough, really. Oh, thank you. Well, if there's no other questions, I'm going to call it a show. Oh, wait, can we add vendors to the preferred list? You mean under the directory and the business resources? We can't physically do it, but if you have a lender that a business resource that you think is great, that you've worked with or whatever in the past, definitely email that to Bill and Scott and bring it to their attention, and they can add it to the directory, I'm sure. Oh, Brightway. Oh, yeah. I forgot about Brightway. Are they not under insurance? They need to be. They're kind of awesome. Yeah, we will. I'll email Bill and Scott about Brightway. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. Well, I am going to conclude, and Irma, I will be giving you a call in a about 2 minutes. Thank you all for attending. I hope you had, I hope it was informative, and I hope that the webinar worked well for you, that you were able to hear me clearly, and hopefully you didn't hear me drink my iced tea periodically. And we will be doing webinar Wednesdays again, without a doubt. Next week, Wednesday, next week, Wednesday, is going to be my English class. I opened the wrong calendar. Next week, Wednesday, is business marketing with social media. So it's about an hour and a half. We're going to go over your social media. We're going to focus on Facebook and Google Plus, a little more than Twitter, and we're going to definitely cover some Instagram, which will be a little tricky to webinar because you can't upload photos on the computer. But I'm going to see if I can finagle a way to get my iPhone up on the screen. But thank you all for attending, and I will see you all next week. Have a great night.